Hello Blues and welcome to the Manchester is Blue show. This is the post-match show for City versus Dortmund. But before we go into that, we've got a fantastic prize to give away. It's an 𝐏𝐻𝐿 Gundogan signed boot. Check out our Facebook, Instagram and Twitter feeds for more information. Now enjoy the show.
Shit, you want to go back to the days of Stuart Pearce? I don't think you can get much worse than that.
Right.
Yeah, but even then, I thought we were brilliant.
Well, even then, we were in the 90s. It's like, we've had this, finishes 7th and 8th and got some decent players, household names.
Amy, you don't know what you've walked into here, but basically, we've started the pod. We're not even doing an introduction. We're going straight into it. Basically, we're talking about City fans forever complaining. There's always City fans that are complaining. There's 1 or 2 in our social group, and there's 1 or 200 on Twitter that just aren't happy. What's wrong with people? There's always something to whinge about. You must have seen this on Twitter, Amy. There's always somebody to moan about something positive.
Yeah, I saw some people saying stuff about Foden like missing that chance about 65th minute or so.
Yeah.
And I was just like, he scored the winner at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, can't really moan. He's 20 years old. Like, there's not a lot of moaning to be done there. But
and you can kind of understand. He did miss a few chances, but you could tell when he scored, he didn't even celebrate. He was that relieved to score because I think he knew that he should have buried a couple of those chances. But it's like you say, mate, he's 20 years old. Get off his back. He's in the Champions League quarter-final, scoring and absolutely ripping their left back to shreds, wasn't he? Or right back, whatever position he was.
Yeah, he ran into the ground, so he got substituted.
Brilliant.
He'll probably do it again, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Well, there's always someone who can nitpick in that, isn't it? It's mad.
Right, well, anyway, welcome to the Manchester is Blue show. This is the post-match. This is the Dortmund post-match game, show, chat, whatever you want to call it. Dan Halifax in your yellow shirt, mate. I've got one of them.
Yo.
I've got one of them. Where is it? There it is.
Yeah, it's my Dortmund City crossover shirt.
That's it.
So I thought I'd dig it out. It's not that I've not ironed it, so I'm not a scruff, but been in loft.
So basically,
I thought I'd dig it out for match.
When we signed Haaland in the summer, we need to re-bring that shirt out again so he gets used to playing in that shirt. You know, a bit of yellow crossover there. New yellow kit. There's something Nike can bring into there. So let's jump straight into it. Brian, 2-1 win. I quite like Dortmund. I've got a bit of a thing for Dortmund. I won't lie. I quite like the way they play, and I'm not too sure why or what it is. But what was your thoughts on the game last night?
I thought we played quite well, to be fair, considering that we've not really done very well in the quarterfinals before.
Yeah.
You know, it could quite easily been another night where we just tick it off as another bad result. I thought we controlled the game. I thought they had a threat. We minimalised it. You know, Haaland had 1 decent chance.
Yeah.
You know, and if before last night you would have thought he would have kept into 1 chance, I think everyone would have bit people's hands off for that. We rode our luck a bit, but I think that's fair, given that people said we've had a lot of bad luck against us in the last 4 years or so maybe it's evened itself out. We can look at it maybe like that, but I thought it was a genuinely good, decent performance, really, and I think we thoroughly deserved to win, and it's given us a good footing to go into next week's game.
I'll come through to the stats in a minute because they're quite telling. Dan, did you ever feel worried about Dortmund last night? How did you feel walking into the match and watching us?
Honestly, before kick-off, I thought we were going to absolutely roll them over. I honestly did. I thought they're a team that's on a bit of a bad patch, and I thought, that's it, we're just going to roll these over. But fair play to Dortmund, they made it a game. They came at us. Like Brian said, like people saying, oh, Diaz got put on his arse and all that. It would really, the 1 chance and then the goal, that's all they really had. They didn't really have a massive sniff at it. In fact, don't get me wrong, the disallowed goal was lucky. We did get lucky with that. But it's about time we got a bit of luck in Champions League. Or in reffing in general. We've had a bit of a bad rub at green with that every season recently. So for it to finally go our way, I think it's one of them things, isn't it?
I have very, very little sympathy for anything that goes wrong to clubs in the Champions League. Very little sympathy. I can think of 3 occasions where it has. Amy, what's your viewpoint on that?
I mean, it was 100% a goal. I don't think we can really dispute that. But it was against Liverpool and against Tottenham. We had it harsh both times and both knocked us out. So I don't have any sympathy for it, to be honest with you. And I don't think they deserve more than a 2-1 anyway. So no, I'm not too. I think it was a fair result in the end.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think City did really well. I think we started off slowly. If the game would have ended up a draw last night, I don't think I would have had many complaints with that decision going against us. And the penalty decision, again, that was never a penalty in a million years, was it? And it was rightly given out. And it was funny because you could tell the difference between City fans and certain other fans on the likes of Facebook and Twitter, because all the City fans were kind of like, yeah, fair enough, that was never a penalty, and the right decision was there. We'll talk about next week's game in a bit more detail now. Pep Guardiola has come out and said we're going to Germany to win, not to defend, and you wouldn't expect anything else from Pep, would you, Brian? What's your thoughts on the high press going to Dortmund? I think it would be a massively different game if they had the yellow wall and the Dortmund fans. I suppose it would have been at City's ground, it would have been a different game, but are they getting a psychological advantage? Are we allowed to play in Germany now, by the way, or do we have to play in Istanbul? Or wherever it is?
Germany, yeah.
It is in Germany, right? Okay, yeah.
I mean, I take what Pep says with a pinch of salt about stuff like that. You never know, do you? He could stick three at the back and try and play a different way. But I'd like to think that, we won 27 of the last 28 games now, is it? Is it around that or something, 26 or 27? You don't change your winning formula and it's obviously working. So why would you, I mean, Dortmund are probably one of the better teams we've played this season. I thought they defended really, really well. So you'd put them at the same sort of level as like a Chelsea are in our league at the minute. Chelsea or a Spurs. I think if you were going to play away against those, we just go and play the same way. You don't need to change anything. There's not a particular threat that we can't handle. You know, we know what Haaland's all about, and I think we did pretty well at it last night. And in the day, if we go over there and we can play like we did now, and we score 1 or 2, I think that's the tie done.
I think there's only one way City will get knocked out of this next week, and you know what, I'm like the most pessimistic of City fans. I don't like jinxing anything, but we will be our own worst enemies by not finishing our chances next week. That is the only possible way of us getting knocked out next Wednesday night. I think it's Wednesday, isn't it? And that's just purely us not finishing our chances. There were so many opportunities. We talked about Phil at the start of this. There's 1 or 2 other chances where we should have scored. It maybe would have done in a different game. Dan, what's your thoughts on that? And is this just another cry out? Because when they scored, when it came to 1-1, all I could keep thinking to myself, and every ounce of energy in my brain was saying, we need a striker, we need Haaland, we need a striker. You know, we're missing our own chances. What did you think of that?
Yeah, the thing is, we did miss some chances, but we're still creating them. And like I said to you yesterday, no striker. But none of us were like, no striker. We're just like, yeah, well, that works for us. Yeah. They're not going to know to mark. Now, I mean, not being big-headed, and I hope this don't come back to bite me in the arse, but I felt like we had another gear last night, right? And I think conceding the goal proved it, that we just went up the other way and scored. And we banged a load of pressure on them straight away. I don't think Dortmund have got that gear. I think that was them. That's them playing well. They've not been playing well in the league. They've got a difficult game against Stuttgart on the weekend. And I don't know. I think I said it before. I think we'll beat them. I think we'll beat them comfortably next week. I really do.
We definitely had another gear. We definitely had another gear last night. I felt we needed to be put under pressure to find that, and it really worries me that we do need to be put under pressure to find that, because in the next game, in the semi-final and the final, I want us to be at that 4th or 5th gear, straight out the starting box. I don't want to go 1-0 down in the first 20 minutes for us to realise what we need to be doing.
But the advantage of like last night, I mean, a lot of people say that City's predictable, but we've gone to Leicester on the weekend, who was third in the league, and we made them look like a championship side, playing Mendy and Aguero and two up front. Do you know what I mean? So nobody's going to know who's playing Saturday, right? That's an advantage to us, disadvantage to them. And same again with Dortmund. If they think, like Brian just said, like we've got Haaland's number. We haven't, right? He might score, but Diaz and Stones were getting into Haaland. They were pushing him about, leaving a bit on him, right?
I noticed
He's
that.
on that
I noticed.
he's on that yellow card. But now next week, their defenders will be like, oh, well, what will like Mahrez will be drifting in, but it might be Sterling, Torres, and Jesus, or it might be Jesus and Aguero playing two up top with Mendy and Cancelo out wide, or Zinchenko. We've got the advantage that they're not going to know what we're going to play next week, and I think that's what will do them.
You made a point there about like Haaland being like he got his number. I think that came from. I think a lot of people probably didn't rate Rodri's game, but I think he did well in cutting out that number 10 space for them to get anything into Haaland at all. Because the one time that he got running behind was from that bit of a space. It's like I think last night Rodri was brilliant at just mopping up that spot and absolutely smothering the ability for them to get anything into them. And when our wing backs were high, that brought their wingers in, and they just couldn't ever get the ball up fast enough to Haaland and even back him up, because the chance that he did have, he was on his own. He was 30, 40 yards away from anybody else.
Yeah.
I want to bring on to Amy. What I talked about the statistics going into this game and finishing the game. The possession stats, we had 61% compared to 39%, which is not all that unusual for City. Are you surprised about that with the quality of team that we played against, that we did have such more possession than what they would expect to have?
I was, because in the first half I didn't feel like, especially for the first 20 minutes, that we dominated at all. I was very worried we were going to go down in the first few minutes, but I saw something that said that Haaland's we're the first team since his Champions League debut that he's not scored against. So I think that really says, if we can shut him up in the next leg, I don't think we've got anything to worry about, to be honest with you. And I think we can expect to see a more dominant performance. And if we score, I think that's over in the next leg. So one goal's all it takes.
I'll hold you to that 1 second. So, with regards to changes that you'd make, I'll just tell you what Pep said in his interview afterwards. I'm not too sure if you heard this or not. We are. I mentioned this before. We are absolutely going to Germany to win, not defend. We're going to adjust our high pressing. We're going to adjust our build-up play. We're going to adjust our off-the-ball movements. What do you mean that? I mean, trying to guess Pep's team and formation is absolute pie in the sky. There's no chance of any of us doing that. We've been doing it for years. Haven't we been doing this Halifax for, and we've never guessed one of Pep's teams right, have we?
Never.
So, Amy, what are you expecting to be different next week? Are you expecting a more defensive style of play? Are you expecting Fernandinho to play, for example, in that holding position?
I wouldn't have thought. Well, I don't know if he didn't play Fernandinho this time around because he was on a yellow and he didn't want him because they get scrapped at the semi-finals, yellows, I think. So I wonder if that's why he didn't play him, because he was worried about ruling him out.
Good information like that, yeah.
But I reckon he's going to play Gnabry next week. I think he'll start him.
I think Gnabry made a massive difference when he came on. Dan, was that the extra gear? Was that the time the extra gear went up when Gnabry came on for you?
No, the extra gear with them going ahead, and I just thought we just stepped it up. And you know, when you were saying about the off-ball change, I thought Cancelo coming in from the left was sort of like nullifying where Gundogan was. I didn't think really Gundogan got into the game. He was like drifting out wide, and I don't really prefer him there. But then you say that, he's out on left-hand side, and he chests a beautiful ball down from Kevin De Bruyne and squares it to Phil Foden. So, but I wonder if that's what he means with that off the ball. I wonder if that's what he's seen as well. So me and Pep are quite close like that.
Well, you need to text him, don't you, and just ask him what's going on for next week. We had 11 shots to Dortmund 7. 5 of those shots were on target. There's a couple of key players I want to talk about from the game. I want to talk about Phil. I want to talk about Mahrez, and I want to talk about De Bruyne, and we'll go on to that in a bit more detail later. We'll talk about. Go on, Brian. Who do you want first? Phil, Mahrez, or De Bruyne? Who do we want to talk about first?
We'll go Foden. Why not?
Go Foden. Fantastic. So when he scored, he come out afterwards and said it was a massive release for him to score, and it obviously was. You could tell that by the lack of celebration. So some statistics from him: he had 82 touches, 89% pass accuracy, 1 key pass, 1 long ball, 3 shots on target, dribbling attempts 4, ground duels 1, 10. 2 interceptions and 3 tackles. I thought he was fantastic last night. I really, really enjoyed watching him play. it was kind of like Pep had wound him up and just stuck him on and say, right, go and do your thing. What do you think of his game?
I thought he was brilliant, especially that last 20 minutes. He had that right back on toast and he turned him inside out and basically he ruined him. You just knew every time Foden got the ball, he was going to go at him. And 3 years ago, when we all saw Phil Foden coming through, we never thought he'd be this like gallivanting young winger that is ruthless, which is what he's becoming. I thought you can see if there's anywhere Foden can improve, and it's only marginally. I think once he starts to get a composure in front of goal, a bit like Sterling has under Pep, because those half chances you get, you're going to be relying on somebody like that in the next 3 or 4 years for him to be putting one of those away. So the fact that he did score probably made him feel a lot better in his mind, saying that actually I did this, and I missed a couple, but managed to actually score the winner. So I think in terms of improving the future, I think a little bit more clinicalness from that side, and he's arguably going to be. He's going to be the player we weren't expecting to be, which is this amazing winger. When we all thought he was going to be this new David Silva, number 10, Paul Gascoigne sort of style player, he's actually becoming more of a threat out wide, which is something I didn't really expect.
Is that something Pep's moulded into him, though?
I think he's just using his current ability, and he's fast, he's energetic, and he can dribble. Everyone knows that. And he's just getting in a position now where he can do the most damage on the pitch. Because he's never going to take out Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan out the middle at the minute. So where do you put him? You put him out wide and let him run at him. And that game against Dortmund last night, he did that. And if he can do that next week, he's just going to absolutely destroy that. Whoever plays right back, let it be that. Whether it's the one that played last night or the sub, he's going to. Nobody wants to face that sort of player. Which they've got the exact same thing in Sancho. I don't imagine that they like defending against him either in their own training. So.
I agree with you there, Brian, and I think you're right. I like to say I thought Foden were sensational last night, but sometimes I thought his decision making in the final third were a bit iffy. Like the first goal, obviously it was a goal, but I thought he sort of like just hitting out that cross. It was sort of like Mahrez taking it down, and Mahrez actually made some of it, and really. There were nothing really on, and I did notice last night, like you say, sometimes we're snatching at shots, and then sometimes whipping a ball in when there were not really an option there.
I think that comes with composure, though, Dan. I think that comes with composure and a bit more experience, which he doesn't have at the moment. Yeah,
so if you're in that central midfield role, that is where you can't make them mistakes. Maybe we'll see him drift into that role. But like you seen with 𝗏𝐵𝐺 𝗀 last night, when he fluffed a simple ball up, boom, we're on a breakaway and we score from it. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he is still learning, and I know what's going to happen. He's going to get dropped at Leeds game.
He is. I just picked my brain to it there, pal. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
But what a lot of City fans need to realise, he's not dropped. He's rotated, and he was the go-to man last night. I seen an article about it today, like saying how Foden's now the go-to man that Sterling needs to get back from him. And I like that. I like that competition in the squad. But that he'll be playing next Wednesday, sorry, guaranteed. But he'll definitely not be playing Saturday.
Yeah, he'd be absolutely criminal if he doesn't play on Wednesday. I thought he's one of the first names on the team sheet. It's an absolute no-brainer for that, really, isn't it? It's quite sad that he's not going to get that consistency. And I'm like you, Dan. I just can't see him playing against Leeds. I just can't see it. It's quite sad, that, really, isn't it? But we have got a wealth of other players, haven't we?
But you've got to accept rotation in a squad that's trying to win everything. So, but like I say, it's not like they're putting some Joey on, is it? It's like Raheem Sterling. One of the best players in England. So
Sterling's got a point to prove as well. Sterling knows that he's just missed in the Champions League quarter-final. He's been one of our most consistent players over the last 4 years. He's just been left out for the Champions League quarter-final at home. He's going to want to prove a point, and this is the sort of character you want from somebody who's he's not played. You're in the weekend, mate. Let's see what you can do. If you play well, you might play Wednesday, and that's the sort of thing that's the sort of like thing we're breeding at our club now. Is like. You play well, you'll play the next game. Whether or not this person in front of you is better than you or done better than you, if you play well, you will stay in the team.
So let's move on to Mahrez now. In the last 3 seasons, only Kylian Mbappe and Di Maria have provided more Champions League assists than Mahrez. I thought he had a good game last night. I thought he could have done better. He got 1 assist, 66 touches, passing accuracy of 88%, 4 key passes, 3 crosses, 1 big chance created, 4 successful dribbles, ground duels 1, 7, aerial duels 1, 1, 2 interceptions and 1 tackle. Not a bad game all round. Amy, what was your thoughts on Mahrez? And I think he'll play against Leeds, but that's a different matter. But tell me what your thoughts were about him last night.
I am the most critical person of Mahrez. Since he missed that penalty against Liverpool, honestly, my dad gets so wound up for it because he loves him. But for that first goal, I honestly thought he'd run it out of play, and I went on my phone. I was ready to message my dad saying, I told you should be playing. And then that he just kept it in. And I was like, oh, delete that message. But no, I thought he did have a really good game. And I can't really argue with the stats like against Di Maria and all that. But I am very critical, and I think he could have been.
There is that side of the fan base. He is a Marmite player, isn't he? You either love him or hate him. Dan, what's your thoughts on Riyad?
I think he's brilliant. I mean, he's took a while to come round to the City way, and I understand all the criticism. I've been critical of him. But, like, the Mahrez of old would have tried to sneak a shot in there last night when he controlled it. He'd have tried to tuck it near post. But that's how his game has evolved. He has been, I mean, like Chris said last night, he's greedy. Yeah, he is. But he has got a lot better with it. And I do think he's become a bit of a go-to player this season. And he is an outlet. And you name somebody better, have a better first touch than him in Premier League. He is top draw. But I wouldn't surprise if he goes to PSG in New Year. Next year. But that's a different story.
Right. I've thrown Mahrez under the bus plenty of times on this podcast. Like literally every week for up to Christmas, I was throwing him under, saying he's got to do more, and he's obviously doing more. So I can't really criticise him anymore. I've got to say, actually, hold my hands up here. He's actually performing, and I've been waiting for him to stop performing. Obviously, I'll be back on the bandwagon then. But as you said right now, he's one of our most informed players. You look at. I was thinking this last night. You look at the team, the potential of our team of the year, and the team of the year in the Premier League. He's got to be right up there for being on that right hand side of the pitch. There's not been that many better right wingers in the league than Mahrez.
Why do you think it's taken certain elements of the fan base this long to start coming round? Is it because there's been that perception of he's greedy, not a team player? Or do you think
I don't think it's greed.
there?
I think it was his work rate, and he looked lazy, and he looked disinterested. And for me, when, like Amy said last night, that when it come across the pitch and you thought to myself, a year ago, Mahrez would have took a touch of that and then drilled it into the side netting, whereas now he's like actually realising the benefit of letting it out to Bruyne score and realising that it's more important to do that. And when he does the brilliant stuff, like scores 25 yarders or, he puts a ball at the back post that is on somebody's right and somebody to tap in, that's when he starts to turn the heads and starts to people to appreciate that actually there's more to the game than actually what we used to see all the time, which is the disappointment and the no-end product.
I think he comes like being a big fish in a small. I mean, no disrespect to Leicester, but he was like big fish in a small pond there, and he come to here where he wants top of the pops, and I think that gelling time didn't help him. And like Amy said, the penalty at Anfield that took some getting over that.
I'm still not over it. Over it, mate.
I don't think anyone really is.
Yeah. I still think about it to this day. Do you know what? This is no joke, right? I genuinely thought about it today. I thought, can you imagine if we'd have won that game out?
Yeah, that streak that they had wouldn't have been this thing, would it?
Yeah. So I genuinely thought about that today. Like, so yeah, I do. Like I say, you can't not. One thing we City fans, we like moaning and we like being bitter, and sometimes you've just got to put past it that players change. I mean, I was always a fan of Gundogan, and I've had the piss took out of me many times for supporting Gundogan, and now everybody's like, "Oh, Mr. Whippy." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, the Gundogan though, Dan, like, I think a lot of the criticism came from everybody was like upset David Silva had left, and he was never going to replace David Silva, and he was obviously going to do that. He's obviously a different player, but it was like Gundogan's not David Silva. So we're going to
moan about it.
Stick up for our boy. Yeah, but Gundogan's a fantastic footballer. As much as I've slated Mahrez on this podcast the last 6 months, I've actually been Gundogan's biggest supporter. So,
right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go to. I need to talk to you about Edison. He's got a mistake in him, hasn't he? When it really counts sometimes. And I feel extremely lucky that the referee blew the whistle when he did. Has he got it out of his out of his system now? Is Pep going to be saying to? Because Edison probably doesn't care. He probably had a brilliant night's sleep last night, Edison, as he normally does. In a bed of clouds. I just get the feeling he just doesn't give a toss if he makes a mistake or not. But for me, it's absolutely heartbreaking when he does, because I'm on the edge of my seat and getting shouted at by my son because I'm talking too loud.
It's practically perfect, isn't he? So when he does make a mistake, it stands out. Last night, he's not going to just smash it out of the stadium, is he? He's always going to try and take a touch. And fair play to Bellingham, because he's a cracking player.
Yes.
He closed him down fast. And I don't think Edison's going to make that mistake again now. He'll just ping it out to somebody. I guarantee you the next time that happens, Edison will take one touch and ping it out 45 yards to someone's feet. Yeah. It will be that sort of, we'll come and close it down, mate. Bosh, there we go. Straight into Bernardo Silva, and there's a counter-attack right away.
You can imagine him straight into the training ground this morning, getting a couple of lads from the academy saying, right, rush me. I'm going to ping this.
I'm going to ping it 3 inches off the floor, 50 yards, straight to someone's feet.
You got to love him.
Come and close.
He's an absolute nutcase.
Well, he's the perfect goalkeeper, isn't he?
I love him.
I think that's is one of his key things, that he doesn't care. Honestly, like, do you remember when Joe Hart were having a shocker and we had to drop him and put Pantomili on him? That if he had the Edison look, like, I don't care, mate. I mean, like, Edison got kicked in the face by Sadio Mane and then played against like PSV on Tuesday.
Yeah.
He don't care, mate.
It's a great mentality to have as well, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's move on. News today, breaking. We're gonna talk about it in the More Than Manchester is Blue show, but we've got Kevin De Bruyne for a couple more years, guys. How good a news is that to see today? Amy, we'll come to you on this first, because I thought Kevin had a good game last night, but the idea of getting him until, was it 2025, another 4 years? Brilliant that for us. What do you think?
I couldn't be happier. It's honestly him and Foden are the only two that I wouldn't be like bawling my eyes out if they left. Like, they have to stay like as long as we can keep them for. And how old's De Bruyne? Is he 27 or so?
29 De Bruyne.
29. Oh my God, I didn't realise he was that.
Sell him, too old.
He'll
be 34 when his contract runs out.
Yeah, so we've probably got him. Well, that's it now. I don't think, unless he goes to like MLS or China or something, in terms of like major clubs, I think we've got him to the end of it now.
I think as long as he can keep his fitness. He's never really been rapid, has he? He's never been a fast player. He's just going to do a David Silva. He just get a little bit slower, but the accuracy and technique is just going to get better and better and better. And he's going to be able to ping balls everywhere. And I can't wait to watch the next 4 years with him. I really can't. Brilliant. He'll
just evolve into like number 8 and just ping balls for fun. Be like a
quarterback role.
I generally think if he doesn't get any bad injuries, he could play till he's like 37, 38. Like Ryan Giggs, got that sort of. He doesn't need his fitness. When his first touch is literally, and his passing is literally 10 times better than everybody else in the league. So as long as he still has that and he's not injured, give him a contract as long as he wants.
And I just keep thinking about all the kids coming through the academy and playing a lot more alongside Phil, getting Phil more experience. And do you know what? Absolutely, any of the experienced professionals will be an absolute pleasure to play alongside Kevin. Can you see him being future captain material when Fernandinho leaves?
I think he like I said already on group, like. He's already won at captains. I don't know why City do that 4-5 captain thing, but he's got to be second. And like you say, I think Fernandinho deserves another year, if I'm brutally honest. And so it'll probably be the year after that when he'll be made like the official I'll lift the trophy captain. But yeah, I think that's the only way it's going to go with Kev. And I'm going to say this now. I could even see him playing centre-back because he's that good at football. I can see him being a ball-playing centre-back at 35.
He is a Roy of the Rovers player where he could play absolutely anywhere, isn't he? He's fantastic.
You know what I think? Sorry, go on. No, you go.
I have another theory about why we've announced it today and like
all
these rumours circulating. why he's on 400 grand a week and all that. And I don't know if you noticed, but everybody's been making a point. Oh, he did it with no agent. He did it with no agent. Oh, he got 400,000 and he did it with no agent. Haaland, you can come on 300. You're not going to be top earning. You don't need your agent involved. That's my theory behind it. That is my theory.
So has Kevin not got an agent then?
No. He sacked him off. Instead of doing it himself.
To be fair, it's not a hard job, is it?
No, well, you can come and negotiate for me if he wants, Kev, when he's finished football.
So the rumor is, sorry Dan, one sec. The rumor is that the contract said to be worth £83 million and he's earning £400,000 a week, which makes him the most expensive City player ever in history, doesn't it? Mm. And is that? Do you think they put him on that pedestal because we've got a new star signing coming in a few months?
Yeah, and then it's like that theory. I think if Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best players in the world, anybody would tell you that. So he needs to be on the top money. That's how it goes. You bring Haaland in now on £300,000 a week. Sounds massive money, but he's still 100 grand less than De Bruyne. Sterling's been offered a new supposedly Sterling's getting offered a new contract. You put him on like 350, 360. I know it's mega money, but then your new signing coming in just looks like below average. Do you get what I mean? That's my theory behind it anyway.
I think 2 points I'd like to make on that. The money is astronomical, but us normal, genuine City fans, that isn't our money. You know what I mean? It's not money that we're contributing to the club that is paying our wages.
I buy my season ticket, I buy my shirt. So, I don't care.
No, but that's not that. It's not. We shouldn't. It's a lot of money. It's some people. It's very, very obscene, and I get that, but it isn't our money. So let them pay what they want if they can afford it. But I think him being paid, what's he got, like 100,000 pay rise? You know, you think about that as it's quite a significant amount. You think about the amount that we're losing with Aguero and Fernandinho going out the door. That's getting on close to £400,000 a week. So we're still profiting off that.
Yeah,
that money will be distributed then to Sterling, to Stones. You know, so it's like we're losing to world-class players, but we're actually just making sure that with that money that we're losing in the financial budget, that's going on, keeping the players that we've got for another 3, 4, 5 years, and it's good business.
I've gone on record saying I don't care how much footballers get paid. I honestly couldn't care less. I buy my shirt, I watch City, love the club, they spend whatever they want to keep City at the top level and winning trophies. I couldn't care less. Just to underline why Kevin De Bruyne is getting paid what he's getting paid, this is astounding. He's either scored or assisted 20% of City's goals in all competitions under Guardiola. 20% of all those. That's 49 goals and 89 assists under Pep's reign. 20%. That's phenomenal. That's why he's getting the big bucks.
You look at the best players we've had over the last 10 years. David Silva, Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany. You know, Yaya Toure. I think I said 4 there. I've got 4 different ones. You know, there's a good chance that when Kevin De Bruyne is 34 years old, he's going out of our club as the most decorated, potential Ballon d'Or winner, and probably our greatest player. He's literally that good that he could be leaving the club at 34, 35 as that. So are we going to pay him X amount? Of course we are, because he's in his peak now. Think of what he's done for 6 years. Think of what he's going to do for the next 4. You know, he's not going to dip that much. And even if he does, he's still going to be... His contribution in 4 years' time is probably going to be better than most average players in the Premier League will ever be.
We are talking, if he carries on this vein, statue material.
He's probably going to be our greatest ever player if he carries on the way he's going, and there's no reason why he wouldn't, because he's getting better, and the team's getting better, and there's better players coming in. As much as we've lost good players, I still think the players we've got are going to improve. Look at Foden, and look at this potential we get a striker in. Look how solid our defence is now. The team is getting stronger, and De Bruyne is literally in his peak. He's ours. So, and
brilliant, isn't he?
I don't know if you saw it, but his tweet today was just, he retweeted City's breaking news. It was just literally home with a blue heart. And I was like, yes.
Oh, it nearly made me cry.
Oh, I love that lad. Did he say something about his kids being half man?
He said something in an interview, but his retweet was just home with a blue heart. It's like, don't.
I love stuff like that.
Take your money, fine. Awesome.
I love stuff like that. I said, Tixie said, Kevin is without question one of the best players in world football. His performance levels have been remarkably consistent since coming to City. And they have, haven't they? It's what a player. I still can't. There's still people in the world that think, you know, that City play better without him.
I've never
We
seen
play different without him. That's
Different.
that's the only thing we do. Play different. Do you know? When you've got a player that good, you can rely on him. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, another 4 years is very warmly welcomed. I think we're coming to the end, guys. Anything else to add? Oh, and by the way, I don't know if anyone's seen about 𝐏𝐸 𝗍𝐶𝐬 in Barcelona in the last couple
I've
of
just
hours.
literally looked at that now on here, yeah.
Barcelona have offered 𝐏𝐸 𝗍𝐶𝐬 a new contract which is lower than what was previously agreed to at Barca after the significant decrease in income. What a shame. I feel really bad for him, don't you? That's hard, that, isn't it?
Well, you say this. I've read somewhere that City are willing to pay towards his wages
What?
as a thank you. I've heard that they're willing to subsidise him.
Would you be willing to?
Is he out of contract?
Yeah, he's out of contract.
Yeah.
Would you be able to? Right, let me just ask this before we go. If tomorrow they announced, say in the next week they announced like a new contract for Sterling and Stones, and then towards the end of this, they announced that 𝐏𝐸 𝗍𝐶𝐬 signed a new 2-year contract, would you be happy or sad about that?
I'd be happy with that.
I would be. I'd take him. I've seen him play for Spain. He's a very, very good player.
He's very competent. And the only bitterness around 𝗍𝐶𝐬 at the moment on social media and everything else is because he said he wants to go back home. If that wasn't
understandable.
if that wasn't there, everyone would be loving him. Absolutely loving this young next
I'd love him to
replacement.
stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd absolutely love him to stay and sell him. A load of money. No, I genuinely would love him to stay. Why not? He's an academy lad. You know, you can see he's got the talent. Why would we be encouraging somebody like that to go for free? I'd love him to stay.
Here. Last bit of news. Promise you. Then we're going to go from a tea. Dan, how are you getting on? We're getting tickets for the Carabao Cup final, pal, because we've been given 2,000 tickets. 2,000 tickets we've been given, and the rest have been given to local people of Wembley and Brent and NHS staff, I think.
Well, I've heard, and I might be wrong, but it's for local Man City supporters as well.
What, to London?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I've heard there's no travelling down. That's what I've heard anyway when I've been getting emails about it.
Yeah, they've lifted the restrictions though for in a country travel. Now we can travel where we want. So,
well, I'm just going on what I've been told, like I say, but that's apparently what I've heard. But on that, they haven't told you Wembley members get tickets as well.
Right.
So you know that Wembley club?
Yeah.
They get tickets as well.
Called Parasite, Wembley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate them all.
It's really frustrating that as a fan. Really
of course it is.
Hey, good thing is at least some City fans are going to get a chance to watch the final. So,
yeah.
You know, it's been a long time coming for a lot of people to get to watch some football games, especially City fans. We didn't get that 3 weeks of where people were allowed in, were we?
This is true.
No, we didn't.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll leave that for today. Amy, Brian, Dan, see you soon, guys.
Catch you later.
Cheers. See you later.
Yeah.